Well, thank you for coming on the red carpet, Marcus.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I want to dig into what got you into the entertainment industry.
Uh, well, believe it or not, I wanted to be in. I started out really just wanting to be a stuntman and a professional wrestler. Going all the way back to elementary school, career day, I actually wore a Hulk Hogan t-shirt. Uh, so I always wanted to I was more into the action side of things initially, and I actually entered entertainment through professional wrestling. Became a professional wrestler in 1999. Trained under Bone Breakers Academy out in Maryland, and wrestled for Maryland Championship Wrestling. And then I got my first big TV break a year into my career. We came out here to Los Angeles for a TV series called Urban Wrestling Alliance, where I performed as one half of the tag team champions, the Black Legion.
hmm
Um, we were the only champions on that show. The series was filmed single season. It ran a syndication on UPN back then in the year 2000. Can't believe that's 25 years ago. Um, but that actually opened up the door for me because I was also in college at the time and had taken a break to come to LA. Hadn't obtained my degree yet. So once the show ended and I moved back to Maryland, I went back to University of Maryland College Park and got into the theater program. And I did a scene from Chicago, the play, and my acting teacher pulled me aside and he basically told me, "You're not a professional wrestler, you're an actor." And he encouraged me to pursue my acting abilities further. So I ended up becoming an actual actor over the next several years. And in 2007, I got my first break on HBO's The Wire, season five. Uh, it was the very first opportunity that I obtained, and it also awarded me entry into SAG-AFTRA, which was just SAG at the time.
That's amazing. The background, professional wrestling, and then you got into acting. And um, what is the most difficult challenge you had to be so far as an actor?
As an actor, I'll be honest, and it kind of explains my progression now as into becoming a producer and filmmaker. The biggest challenge is opportunity. Um, we all kind of enter this kind of rat race with the hope of getting that big break, you know. Um, and something I learned in the early stages of my living in California and Los Angeles, I'm surrounded by some extremely talented actors um, who have gone 50 steps ahead of me in their career pursuits. And one thing that I had taken notice to was even those who have taken those extra 50 steps are still not where I would ultimately want to be.
hmm
A lot of the opportunities that you get as an actor are five lines or less. You may get a uh, opportunity where you have a character role on a major network series for a single or maybe even multiple episodes, and that's honestly, in many people's cases, the best you can ask for, and it's progressively gotten more challenging over these last few years with the strikes and a lot of the things that have been happening in Los Angeles in relation to tax credits and uh, the loss of incentives for productions to stay in California. So we actors who have, chosen not to kind of jump ship and move out of state and kind of follow where the productions are heading. We're still here, just hoping to take advantage of the remaining opportunities that are here. But I'm not getting any younger. And in 2020, I made the decision that certain goals of mine are not likely to be obtainable unless I create them for myself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and as I mentioned before, I'm an action junkie. Uh, of course, Marvel has, revitalized the comic book film industry over the past 20 or so years. And I followed them from the very first 1999 Blade, Wesley Snipes. It was a huge, huge incentive for me to want to come to California as a professional wrestler turned actor because I genuinely believed that I had potential of getting that, action star opportunity. And early on in my career, I actually developed a live action Blade project and thought that, and I got really close. I
Hmm.
actually had a full set designs, cast, script, and it was presented to some very high-ranking individuals who put it in front of Marvel. And Marvel actually said, "Yeah, we can do it, but you're going to have to pay us." And the number was not small, and the contract was not very giving. So we ultimately did not proceed with that, but I did not give up on my goal, which was to have the opportunity to portray a superhero character. Um, Now, I ended up doing fan films, and that inspiration came from Bat and the Sun Productions. Those guys, Sean and Aaron Schoenke, father and son directors, producers, have been doing that since around, mid 2000s, primarily with Batman themed fan films. And they got a huge break in their careers years back when G4 Network, which is a gaming network, picked them up and allowed and funded their opportunity to keep producing superhero beatdowns. And they would hire actors. A lot of actors that they hire have stunt and wrestling backgrounds. I actually went to a comic convention years ago dressed as Blade with
Wow.
my acting resume and presented to them. And it's funny because I didn't catch them at their panel, but I happened to catch up to them when they were walking to their car.
Hmm.
So I presented them with uh, my headshot and resume, and I never heard back. But this is how I knew I was meant to be. I was on the right track because, strangely enough, a few years later, I was working security, and they were visiting the building that I was working security at.
Wow.
The person that they were visiting introduced me to them. And ultimately, that led to me getting a small role in Ninjax versus the Valiant Universe, which was their first Marvel DC fan fiction project. That project was actually filmed for the then owners of Valiant Comics, who had revitalized that comic book company, and were progressing from comic books to live action. And later on, they ended up producing a live action feature film starring Vin Diesel, Bloodshot. So I was in that. My scene got cut, and again, I, just like what I've experienced in Hollywood, is here I am with this small opportunity that only gave
Hmm.
me a fraction of what I was ultimately looking to do. And I think that was for me kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. I said, all right, look, I have a talent base that is very rare in Hollywood. I mean, I can do things that a lot of people can,
Hmm.
say
And
I can do some of that. Oh,
it's
good.
no, I'm sorry. Your
Huh?
story is so inspiring that
Well, thank
and
you.
And it also talks about not giving up. Go
Yeah,
for it, you know.
yeah.
And I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to
Oh
say
no,
that.
it's
Please,
okay.
please continue.
Yeah, and and that's my thing. I've had that bug since I got my TV break. It's very rare for a professional wrestler, especially a kid like me at that age who didn't have a collegiate background. I was 195 pounds soaking wet. Um, there weren't a lot of opportunities out there,
Hmm.
especially for African American wrestlers on top of it. And even when I did get that break, The Rock's father, the late Soul Man Rocky Johnson, he was our head trainer,
Wow.
and he inspired me a lot. He came in after we had shot about 2 or 3 episodes, and we flew back and forth. So when we flew back to LA after we had already been filming, and were notified that Rocky Johnson was now on board, it was like the guru master is here. And they told us, hey, stay in your hotel room, wait for a phone call. He's reviewing the tapes of your work, and he's going to present you with his notes. And we're all waiting, waiting. And I finally got my call, and I come into the room, and he just looks at me and he's like, you're the only person that I don't have any notes for. I said, what do you mean? He said, you understand your character, your moves are smooth. He said the only thing that I would recommend is that you put on some size. And that was about the best compliment you can get. It's like if there's nothing wrong with my talent and my abilities and what you're seeing from the polished, footage that we've actually been airing
Hmm.
nationally, then that says a lot.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, so that carried over with the inspiration I got from my acting teachers, and even now as a filmmaker, when I finally decided to create my own fan films, portrayed Blade in now I guess you say 4 separate productions, and each one of them has won uh, more, 20 plus awards
Wow.
from the film festival circuit.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
amazing.
so I'm finishing what I started. The project that I'm doing right now is called Triggered, a cinematic superhero fan film. I've been shooting this since 2022. It actually was a diversion from where I was actually working on a Superman themed project originally. Um, and I was having trouble with casting a Kal-El Superman. Actually had 3 different actors, and one of them, the last one, that led me to say it's time to turn another direction.
Hmm.
He actually presented me with some funding, uh, offers. He really believed in it, and he wanted it to be top grade. And we had an agreement, and he disappeared on me before we could even start production. And that was to me. I just said that's a sign. And at the same
Wish
time,
he
I
didn't
met a guy.
disappear on you, but it's a sign.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know. I recently kind of revisited potentially touching on that just because of all the media
Hmm.
about, Michael B. Jordan potentially, getting the role, and all the
Yeah.
all the because the story I came up with is an original character, uh, and it tells a very compelling uh, story that I think audiences would gravitate to, especially if there is this concern about,
Hmm.
whatever term you want to use as a code switching, or all these different things that they like
Yeah,
to say.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
Not coming to my head.
so,
Um,
yeah, but this story would definitely counter those kind of thoughts. It would be just by name, you would assume one thing, but then when you saw it, you'd say,
right.
"Oh, okay, I get it."
You know,
But getting back to Trigger, oh, go ahead.
the film industry, hopefully it grows again in California. And I believe it will. Um, it's the home of Hollywood, home of
Yeah,
filmmaking. The one thing I want to say, I'm so glad that the film industry is expanding to other states. And it's wonderful because it's helping the next future actors in their own
yeah,
state to get into the entertainment industry.
yeah.
So,
I agree.
and
I think there's room for expansion. I just don't want to see. I want the opportunity to be here as well. You know.
yes, and I totally agree with you. I believe the opportunity will go back to California sooner than you
Yeah.
think.
Well, to me, it comes down to this. Part of the main reason that California was always considered a great state for filming is because of the weather. I mean, just keeping it simple. A lot of the states that are getting these projects have four seasons, and people are shooting on location in conditions that are not ideal. And
Mm-hmm.
that's always been the case. I mean, films have historically, done a kind of a blend of studio and then on location. But again, if you want to save money and you want to have a crew that's not hating your guts because they're either getting really sick or burning up, California is always the best opportunity year round to film without those
Amen.
harsh weather
100%.
conditions. Yeah,
I totally agree with you. It's always beautiful, sunny, weather's wonderful, and it's just absolutely amazing about the film industry in California. And as yourself being a filmmaker, and an actor, and a wrestler, a former wrestler, um, and it also talks about a testimony. Not it's your testimony is powerful because it talks about not giving up on your dreams. Go for it.
absolutely.
And that's what
Yeah,
that's the big thing. I want everyone to find out from this message from you as well. It's not don't give up. Go for
yeah,
it. Keep going for it. You don't want to.
yeah,
You don't want to. We all live once, right?
exactly.
And I believe God is calling anybody to do anything, and God has a plan
Absolutely.
for you. If God has a plan
Yeah,
for you to do that, you go for it. You don't want to
yeah,
wait and find out, oh no,
yeah,
what did I just do? And
yeah. There's a voice inside of each and every one of us that if we
yes,
listen to it, we realize that our life is on a set journey. And
100%.
when life
Everybody,
gets, yeah,
I'm a believer in Jesus Christ and God, and I
yes,
believe that God has a plan for everybody. And but again, if you have a dream, if you have a passion to do what you want to do and want to be in the entertainment industry, go for it. Just go for it. You don't have to have a
yeah,
degree. Be a filmmaker,
no,
director, producer, an actor. And again, that all comes down to what I was saying. That's why I love the film industry growing in every state, and I want it to come back to California for sure. And I
absolutely.
believe it will. So, what is your
Yeah.
advice for upcoming actors?
But you just hit the nail on the head with the not giving up part. You really have to uh, do this. You got to put blinders on.
Yes.
You cannot let anyone get in your head. I still remember as a younger person having people, even agents, telling me that my look was too similar to others. There's too many people out there trying to do the same thing. Even when I wanted to be a action star, I remember talking to an actor from the Ninja movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him what I wanted to do, and he said, "Well, you have to choose. You either have to be an actor or a stuntman." It's like there's very few people who can be both. And listen, when you tell me something, it's coming from your point of view, it's coming from your perspective. But if it doesn't resonate with my goals and what I'm seeking, I just take that advice and put it somewhere
Right,
and
right.
keep moving, you know. So you're going to hear a lot of feedback from people who aren't going to necessarily believe in you as much as you believe in yourself, and you simply cannot let anyone get in the way of what your passion is and what your focus
Mm-hmm.
is. But I also will say this: you have to be grounded. I've seen people firsthand, and I've heard a lot of stories of people who have given up a lot to do this. I'm not going to pretend like I'm one of those people. I came to LA and worked mostly security gigs and things like that initially. But especially when you have a family and people who depend on you, you have to make sure that you put your family first. You put your your priorities, your responsibilities first. There's people who are going through a lot of hardship because they're in such a strong pursuit of their dream that they have pushed people that are more important than
Mm-hmm.
any acting opportunity. And I've been in spotlights over different eras of my career, and I can tell you that it is a empty feeling to be there if you don't have your house in order at the same time. You're coming home to an empty home, and letters from the courts and things like that. I'll tell you right now, there's not a single award you can win. There's not a single amount of money that you can receive that is worth more than having the people that matter to you feel that you are there for them and that the reason that you're doing what you're doing is to support them.
Amen.
So
Surround yourself with people that support you. But
yeah,
also, I always go back to this. Instagram family is another support because you'd be so surprised with all the actors and directors and film directors on Instagram supporting each other and from different states in the entertainment industry. That to me is really powerful. I really believe that's it's amazing when you hear that, and you're continuing the journeys of the film industry, and doing what you love is the main thing. You know,
yeah,
if you don't love what you're doing, then why do it, right? That's what everyone
yeah,
says.
absolutely. Yeah, it shouldn't feel like work, I mean, to me, any opportunity I have to be on a set and to either behind the scenes or in front of the camera, those days are it's almost like in between you were just kind of riding on a subway and now you're at your destination and you just remember those stops,
Right,
and obviously there's a
100%.
lot of great things.
Just go for it.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Sure.
a feeling like no other. um to do it, to have the to like recently I just filmed in September with Eric Roberts, um Academy Award nominee, so in The Dark Knight. Uh, my childhood, he was in my favorite fight movies called The Best of the Best, parts one and two, and he was a legend to me. And I had a role in mind for him, and he agreed to perform in my project. And I tell you, the one thing that feels better than being in a film yourself and getting the opportunity to portray a role that you've always wanted to is to see someone reading your words and bringing to life a story that you created. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that to me is a whole nother level of incredible. And to add to that, you know, getting acknowledgement, getting awards, having people that are looking at multiple projects and saying, "Well, this one stands out to me to be worthy." Um, I can tell you, I never imagined a day in my earlier
Right.
parts of my career that I would be sitting behind. My screen is blurred, but behind me is just like a 20 plus awards that I I'm proud to, have on display.
Oh, wow, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All your journey and your testimony tells everything about your career and being in the entertainment industry and all the hard work pays off.
It
100%.
does, and that's the other, if there's another piece of advice I can give, it is that too, to uh, be flexible. Be don't come in next with one goal in mind. You're gonna find that there's so many different avenues available in the entertainment world. Don't place yourself in one single box. Give yourself. Most of the people that I work with are so multi-talented. They in both in front of and behind the camera. Most of the people I work with have skills and abilities that even if we don't use them, it's the training, it's the dedication that they put into those skills that gave them what the tools they needed to,
Mm-hmm.
be prepared for what we have in store for them as well.
100%. Don't give up. Keep
Yeah,
going. Keep the faith, and the passion. So,
yeah.
where can people find you on social media?
I have so many ways. So on Instagram, you can find me just by at Marcus Ham Actor, HAMM, or my production company, Urban Ren Entertainment. The full name is Urban Renaissance Entertainment. And also, of course, Triggered, the project that I mentioned, is at Triggered Fan Film.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also on Facebook under my full name, Marcus Nel-Jamal Hamm. And there's also a Facebook for Triggered Fan Film and for Urban Empire or Urban Renaissance Entertainment. And I also have a website, urbanrenaissanceentertainment.com. And there you can find everything. A lot of photos from our screenings and our awards, links to watch some of my projects and trailers, and we just try to keep that as updated as we go along on our journey. And the next chapter, I'm looking to produce a non-fan film, full feature fantasy action film.
Well, I can't wait for your next project and have you come back and talk about your next project on my podcast and let the audience know, let your audience know as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'd love to come back and share. And also,
Yes, Mr.
there's one other
Marcus.
project I just wanted to mention really quick that I'm a part of. It's called the SINS, the Seminole Indian Negro Scouts. This is actually based in true history, the late 1800s. These are uh, kin to the Buffalo Soldiers. These are former slaves turned U.S. military, the first ever special forces. We've been filming that as well since 2022 with director and writer Lovey Ray Johnson Jr. I play Adam Payne, or you can Google. He was the real deal. He was the real life Rambo.
Wow. And when is it coming out?
We're just completing some final filming for that, and we're hoping to have a release date ready in the 2026.
Wow. When it comes out, I definitely want to have you back so we can talk more about it.
Absolutely.
Please let
Be
me know,
glad to come back.
and we're gonna talk only about that project when it comes out. So I'm serious. So please let me know. I would love to talk about it when it comes out.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
please keep me
It's one of my
updated.
proudest works for sure.
Yeah, please keep me updated. I would love to have you back and talk more about it. Well,
All
Marcus,
right.
thank you
Appreciate it.
for coming on, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Oh, thank you. Me as well. I really appreciate you inviting me, and I'm looking forward to the next opportunity too.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna have you back as soon as possible, and we'll talk then.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.